But we're kicking off the second hour of the show by having a look at a unique celebration of family heritage and Irish history, which is set to come to Clare later this month as O'Malleys from across Ireland and around the world gather in Ennis for a special 3-day event. The annual O'Malley clan gathering has been bringing together descendants, relatives and friends of one of Ireland's most famous clans for more than 70 years, and this year marks a particularly significant occasion because the gathering returns to Clare for the first time since 1953. So to tell us more about what's planned, I'm joined by the Chieftain of the O'Malley Clan Association, Denise O'Malley Kelly, who's in the studio this morning. Denise, very good morning to you.
Good morning, Alan.
I'm very well. Thanks very much for coming in. So, talk to us a bit about, for people not familiar with it, the O'Malley Clan gathering and its place in Irish heritage and culture, because it has been quite long running.
Yes, we're basically, it started back in 1949. A group of O'Malleys got together to do up one of Grace's castles, and it was in very bad repair. It was one of the De Burca castles, originally belonged to her husband, and they got together and they raised a significant amount of money and renovated, and they opened it in 1953, and over 500 O'Malleys turned up to the opening. So they said, oh, OK, there's something here. So they formed the Clan Association, the O'Malley Clan Association, that year, and we've been having gatherings every year since.
I can just imagine 500 of them turning up and every O'Malley turning around and go, God, there's a lot more of us than we realised.
Yes.
I suppose, as you say, that it showed there was something significant there, and it has continued. As I mentioned as well, Denise, this year will be particularly significant because it's the first O'Malley gathering in Clare since 1953.
Actually, ever.
Okay, so ever.
Yeah.
Why is it so important to have it happen here?
Basically, the chieftain has a 1-year term, and it's up to the chieftain's discretion to pick where they want to have their gathering. So, as a family, we're over 44 years in Clare, and I just wanted to showcase the beautiful county that I've grown up in and that we've adopted as a family.
Okay, so you're doing your bit for tourism here.
Yes, yeah. I actually did a tourism reception course in the 90s, and one of my placements was actually here in reception.
All right, there you go. Okay, well, so you know what you're doing. Anyway, that is for sure. Tell us about your journey in becoming Chieftain of the O'Malley Clan Association. How does that happen? What does the role involve, and what does it mean to you personally to host the gathering in Clare?
Well, basically what happens is we've changed the constitution in the last few years, and before the constitution was changed, our constitution was changed, it was up to a chieftain or a former chieftain to nominate somebody, and then it was seconded, and that was it. But in the last couple of years, we've changed the constitution, which has opened it up to clan members. And so we have a voting system on that. So people can nominate a clan member to become Taoiseach, and then the following year it's their gathering. So back about 4.5 years ago, my cousin Ellen O'Malley Dunlop, she be Dad's first cousin, she invited myself and 2 others onto the committee, the Council of Chieftains, which I think is really cool. But she brought on as clan members just to spice things up a bit, get things moving. We got the constitution changed, and it has opened it up for everybody, basically. So I'm the 8th of my family to be chieftain.
The 8th within your own family?
Extended, yeah.
Okay, that's impressive.
We would be Clare Island Rathdowney O'Malleys, and I've had 2 granduncles. My dad was chieftain. This is the 50th anniversary of when Dad was chieftain, and this year. And I've had 3 other cousins chieftains, and we've had 3 guardian chieftains as well.
So proud tradition within the extended family.
Extremely, yeah. I've been going to gatherings since I was 7-8 years of age. And
can you tell us what that's like, Denise? Particularly, I don't know if you remember too much about the earliest editions of the gatherings you went to, but are you surprised by how many O'Malleys are out there? Does it make you more aware that this is bigger than just our little version of the your extended family, I'm sure, is quite big, but there's you broaden it out to these gatherings and you see how many O'Malleys there are around Ireland and the rest of the world.
Yeah, well, it was especially special to me as a kid because we moved a lot with Dad's work. He did a lot of contract work, and we were basically the only O'Malleys in the village, and so when we went to the gathering every year, you were just surrounded by O'Malleys, and it was just amazing to meet people from every walk of life and very, very accomplished people. We had colleges, surgeons, governors, judges. They were all chieftains throughout the years, and just a lovely bunch of people who just adore their heritage and their name,
And I guess you're with some people who are total strangers, but you're not stuck for something to talk about because the whole raison d'etre of the gatherings, the starting point is, so you're an O'Malley as well, tell us about your O'Malleys, where you're from and your story, and you get into it, and I'm sure you're all, famous friends by the end of it. Absolutely,
and then we meet every year after that, and we just pick up where we left off. It's just a lovely bunch of people. Especially what I call the foreign O'Malleys. We had 20 countries last year.
Would a lot predominantly come from the US, I would imagine, with the Irish diaspora over there?
But we have Australia and New Zealand, and we have Canada, and a good few from the UK as well. So it's a very varied. We have a mass on Sunday now in the cathedral. My school friend Fiona Walsh is the choir master, and she's going to put on a beautiful mass for us. And we've Father Canon Donagh O'Malley. He's actually going to do the mass for us.
How appropriate.
Absolutely. Canon came out of retirement for this for us, and he's very excited about celebrating with us all. We have a piper, Rory O'Neill, who's going to pipe us up the aisle of the church. So there's a lot of pageantry involved, but it's lovely. It's just tradition.
And does that fall upon the chieftain to organise all the logistics of this clan gathering? It's 3 days.
Yes.
Have you been snowed under?
It's all me.
It's all you.
Yeah, I have the backing of the Council of Chieftains, which are former chieftains, and I have Brendan O'Malley Limerick, who's our guardian chieftain. He was elected in Westport last year, and he's doing a 4-year term. And he had his gathering in 2019 in Limerick. And he's been an amazing support. And he's also on my subcommittee. So I have people from Sweden, Chicago, Limerick, everywhere on my subcommittee. And they're just a wonderful support. Really,
okay. And great to have that support, because I would imagine, and particularly because this is the first time it's coming to Clare, you want to make a big impression. So, and there's a lot to showcase about Clare, Denise. So, what have you lined up? And particularly, I suppose, depending on where a gathering is, there'll be unique elements from that location and that region, but every gathering has its staples: the music, history, heritage, genealogy, storytelling, and so on.
We keep more or less the same format every year. I have 3 brilliant guest speakers. I have local historian Dick Cronin, and he's going to talk about the sites of Clare, all the historical sites, and particularly the O'Dees and the Dysart O'Dea Castle. I have, which I'm very excited about, Anne Chambers, who's the biographer of Grace O'Malley. And Anne actually brought Grace out of folklore and back into her history books. She wrote her biography in the late 70s, and she's an honorary member of the clan ever since. So Anne is on a book tour at the moment, and she's taking time out of her busy schedule to do that for us. And then I have Dr. Morris Gleeson, who is our, as I call him, the DNA guy. And he's a Dublin man, but working in London. And he is handling our project on connecting different families through DNA and seeing where we sit, like who's basically related to Grace directly. So my brother Kenneth, it's only the males, O'Malleys, can do the test. So my brother Kenneth just a shout out to Kenneth there in Ozone Health and Fitness. And just
listeners will be familiar with Ken.
Yeah, just to put it into context. And also my mother Kay in reception, she's Kay from Corrafin. So
has she sent in her question for In the Garden already?
Oh, I'm sure she's texting outside, Alan. I'm sure she is. And just that's to show my background. And so, yeah, Morris is doing a wonderful job. So Kenneth did the first test, which we were very excited about. It showed that we were direct descendants of the original Mr. O'Malley back 1,000 years ago. It's the jargon is it's where we sit on mankind. So the original Mr. O'Malley 1,000 years ago. So we came back direct descendants.
And speaking of someone who's done DNA kind of test to find out about family links and all that, didn't go back quite that far.
Yeah.
What does it do for you, Denise, in terms of how you think about your place in the wider scheme of things when you can connect yourself back to a person who lived 1,000 years ago?
It was absolutely amazing It's always been a family story that we were connected in some way to Grace, that we were descendants of Grace. So we did a second DNA test, which is more detailed, and they have on file descendants of Grace. So we were able to test, and we shared from the original Mr. O'Malley. We are both ourselves and Grace O'Malley are direct descendants of him, obviously. And we shared about 5 DNA markers, and then we split out into cousins. So it was great. It was great to come back with some connection to her. And it confirmed our family stories that were passed down.
What kind of support have you received locally in bringing the gathering to Ennis? Because there's going to be, I'd imagine, hundreds of O'Malleys floating around Ennis, which is a bit of a boon for local businesses and so on as well. Has there been local support in helping this gathering to happen?
As they say, I think it's a radio jargon. I'd like to give a shout out to Clare, Collar and Malloy. I contacted Clare over a year ago, and I asked her how would I go about maybe getting a grant or support, because every county we have a gathering in, the chieftain will approach the local council. So she advised me to apply for the festival of an events grant, which 7 out of 7 of the municipal Ennis district councillors voted in favour. So I'm very, very happy and very proud, because we got the highest grant a chieftain has ever received.
I'll tell you what, that does wonders for your position as chieftain. Any possibility of you being re-elected?
Well,
that's going to help anyway.
I'll tell you something. It's a 1-year term, but it's been such a pleasure. I'd do it all over again.
Do a Donald Trump in it, just and force yourself into a second term.
Yeah. But I'd love it. But I have a Taoiseach his name is Don O'Malley. I call him Newsletter Don, because there's a few Dons in our gathering, and he's my Taoiseach, or wingman as I call him, and he will be inaugurated on the last day of our gathering. So it's been an absolute pleasure. The excitement and enthusiasm I've got from the Clare vendors have been second to none. They're just so excited to have this come to Clare, And with each gathering, I'm sure, there's plenty of people who've been to them before, but I'm sure with every edition of it, there are new O'Malleys who come on board. Yes.
Maybe, people who've made recent connections, be they from the US or the UK or Australia or further afield. It must be an exciting part of it to welcome them into the wider fold, and especially they may never have visited Ireland before, or Clare before, to be able to show them around. Well,
it's a great start. What better county to showcase? We've on the Friday evening after the talks, the different guest speakers, we have a Ceilidh, and Joe Hanrahan, who's a brother of Stockton's Wing, is putting together a full Ceilidh band for me, especially. And they're forming especially, and they're calling themselves Spree for the night. So we'll be able to showcase the beautiful music of Clare. I have a little surprise. I won't say too much, but in the form of dancing later on that evening. And then on the Saturday, we've a bus tour. And I'm doing North Clare, I'm doing the Cliffs of Moher, I'm doing Pullnabrone, Dolman, and I'm also doing Dysart Castle. So I'm really looking forward to showcasing even Dysart Castle because it's local to where my home place is in Clare FM. So looking forward to that, and a shout out to Vincent, who has been absolutely amazing to deal with and is so excited to accept. The O'Malleys will be invading the OD Castle that Saturday. And then Saturday evening we have a gala dinner, and we have a band after. It'd be very much like a function, like a wedding almost atmosphere. And we have Hannah, the famous David Hanrahan. He again is putting a band together for me. And he's calling himself the Has-Beens, which is typical Hannah. But that's going to be a lot of fun. And then the Sunday we have the Mass in the Cathedral at 11:30. And back then we've to do our AGM. And at 1:30 we've lunch. And all this is, the Hub Hotel is the Temple Gate Hotel here in Ennis. And they've been absolutely amazing. Pauline, John, the whole lot of them have been exceptional to deal with, and I'd highly recommend anyone that is looking for a good function space because they've been exceptional.
Well, there you go. You got that the plug in as well. Fair play to you. Okay, well, look, it sounds like it's going to be great fun. It's towards the end of this month, the 26th to the 28th of June. Denise, what would you say to any O'Malley's listening who might be considering coming along?
Well, one of my main reasons being here today, Alan, is there is quite a few O'Malleys in Clare. West Clare, there's, I think in Kilmaley, there's 6 Mile Bridge. And basically, I would love to see them come along and just see what we're about. Because for many years, the gatherings were held in Mayo. But it's only since we've opened up into voting for chieftains throughout the country that we are now jumping into different counties.
Locations are broadening out then,
Yeah, so really looking forward to seeing them come along. We have, since 19, we've gone online. We have a booking system, and Brendan O'Malley is our tech guy, and he has signed us up with Ticket Tailor this year. And it's very, very simple. If you go on, put into your search O'Malley Clan Ticket Tailor, TAILOR, and it'll bring you straight to a booking site.
Okay.
Now, just to let you know that even we have some free events throughout the weekend as well, and I would ask you to also book the free events because that gives us an idea of numbers. But it's a flawless, seamless system we have, and we're very fortunate to have had Brendan introduce that for us, because we had a suffering secretary for over 30 years who hand posted everything.
My God, that's an owner's way to do it, and a long stint as secretary as well.
Yes, over 30 years. Beautiful lady, Mary Jane O'Malley from Newport and Westport. And she was just a wonderful asset. So we hope to have her come as our guest on Sunday to lunch.
Okay, well, look, it's as I said, the 26th to the 28th of June, the O'Malley Clan gathering going to be happening in Ennis. So keep an eye out for them. I sense you won't miss them. There'll be so many of them around the place. The Chieftain, Denise O'Malley Kelly. Denise, thank you very much for joining us this morning on Tuesday's Morning Focus.